Welcome back to another episode of the Live China Music Podcast. I'm Will Griffith, and with us we have...
Ellie Rosenberg.
Hey Ellie, how you doing?
Hey Will, doing good. Very happy today. It's a beautiful Sunday, good weather. Excited to talk about all those tracks with you today.
Okay. So before we jump into this, we do want to just kind of, give a little, what would you say? A little
feedback, take a little, break.
Maintenance check?
Yeah.
So yeah, we want to just kind of, explain that how we want to move forward with this. Because we don't only just want to, cover new tracks in the future. We are hoping to expand our palette and include things like, like interviews perhaps, or what else could we do, Ellie?
I think, we mentioned doing a field trip to Zhengzhou at one point.
Yes.
I mean, that'd be a lot of fun.
We're looking for excuses to leave our computers and just get out there and meet up, probably.
Yeah, there's a ton of stuff that we don't really have time to explore in this format of just talking about new releases, and I think there's a lot more cool stuff we could do. And of course, time is a factor, so I'm not sure what point we'll be able to do that. But it's something that I do want to see happen with the podcast in the future. There's also in terms of reaching out to more people, because we're starting to have a little audience now, which is wonderful. And seeing comments is always heartwarming and encouraging for us. I do want to reach out to more people and see first off, if we can connect with more communities, and also try and work out a way to get more feedback from people listening to us, to make sure that we are putting out stuff that people are interested in listening to.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so just keep your eyes peeled down the line, and hopefully we, mix it up a bit. But for now, let's get back to our tracks, right?
Yeah, and we have some very interesting stuff today. I'm excited about all of those songs and artists. So let's dive in. And the first track we're going to talk about today is 客气秀 by the band 范小热. So the band's name in English is Riot In School. The track name, I don't know how it translates really. It's something like kitsch show, like the kitsch show.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was leaning towards.
So let's just play the track, and then we're going to talk about it.
That's quite a way to kick off the show. Riot In School, this album that they just released, this is their sophomore LP. They are a young band from Chengdu. And while originally, I guess, they were kind of classified as like, alternative rock, grungy kind of sound here. But like this album truly like goes places and kind of jumps all over the map sonically. But this track in particular is just has such a momentum to it. It's propulsive in how it just builds up.
I think we could talk a bit more about the album in a minute, but just for this track, the sentiment in the lyrics is something that I feel a lot of musicians are very familiar with. He's talking about getting older and the meaningfulness of making music when you get older and you struggle with what is it I'm doing? Does this make any sense anymore? There's a line which is kind of cool. It says 朋克和青春期谁会更先死掉? Which will die first, punk or adolescence?
Adolescence? Adolescence?
Adolescence. Adolescence. Which will die first, punk or adolescence? Am I saying this right?
Is this a French word?
Yes, adolescence in French. How do you pronounce it?
Adolescence.
Adolescence. All right. He's just wondering, like, can I still go like screaming into the mic and kind of bleeding my heart out on a stage in front of 50 people forever?
Well, this is kind of like, particularly in punk music, like this is the, I guess like the big looming kind of thing is like, how long can I keep doing this? Like I eventually, something's going to have to grow and something's going to have to change.
Yeah. And it's interesting to see them being aware of this and expressing this in this track, because I feel that they've been growing very fast. Their first album came out in 2022, and I thought it was older than that, but it's only been 3 years. And that was a much more clear-cut punk grunge record, and it was doing a good job. And then they came out with an EP in 2024, which was called 那些我们互相浪费的时间. These times we wasted on one another. And already there was an evolution in their sound. And this album now is so much more.
Yeah, it seems like this is like the point where they're not even taking notes anymore. They're just kind of following their own arrow here and just kind of putting everything they want to express into each of these songs. And as we mentioned earlier, this album does kind of go all over the place. There's hip hop there's trip hop, there's core sounding, emo, whatnot. It's really exhilarating in many ways.
Yeah, and I was wondering if you had more information about the title track, because the album is called in Chinese 亵渎朋克摇滚.
Punk rock blasphemy. Yes.
Yeah, punk rock blasphemy. That sounds right.
I mean, I think this is a theme that a few bands are starting to touch upon, is like, what does punk rock mean to China, to Chinese youth? Is it just a kind of a fad? Is it just an aesthetic? What does it truly mean to be a punk musician? How do you honor that kind of that label? And I think many bands are struggling with that. They probably see all these other bands too who they feel like are just, I don't know, not sellouts in general, but just, okay, you're not you're not truly meaning it. Because this album, because it kind of takes these big leaps, it feels more punk because of that, because it just feels very freeing. It's not being held back by any kind of, it's not boxing itself in.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great to see a band take risks, experiment, collaborate, expand their musical horizons, and just mature like that.
Yeah, very exciting.
Moving on, the next band is Sheng 乐队. Sound
Voices. Oh, it's the name of the song.
The name of the song is Sheng Voices, between parentheses, and the name of the band is Sheng. And Sheng usually is translated as sound, but as many characters in Chinese, it can take on multiple meanings. So is a band called Voices or Sounds? Anyways, they insist. It's 3 times that.
You decide. What do you think it should be?
And let's just play them. This track came out on the 27th of March. And Will, how did you find this band? Because this is their first track that I could find. I haven't seen anything else from them. Where do you find those guys?
Well, as we've kind of talked about in previous episodes, there is kind of like a pretty, significant music scene in Zhengzhou, and
they're from Zhengzhou too?
Well, they're from the neighbor city, right above, which is Xinxiang. And so, I know so many of these bands in, that area. So, they're all constantly, sharing each other's music. So this just popped up on my WeChat. And so I had to go down, a little rabbit hole because, we mentioned, this is the only track from this band. So this is kind of, fresh, just right out of the oven. And so, for anyone who's familiar, there is a well-known, long-standing post-punk band called the Fallacy. And so this is essentially a side project of that.
Yeah, so Wang Xubo and Zhang Nan, both of them are in the Fallacy, and it's their side project, yeah?
Yeah, and which kind of actually makes perfect sense because you can hear so much of the Fallacy, kind of within the details here. You've heard the Fallacy before, right?
Yeah, of course, yeah. They're established. In the indie scene, they're quite well known.
Yeah, with already 5 albums under their belt or something. But it's interesting and curious to kind of see a band kind of just go off tangent like this and kind of clearly want to try something new or try to find a new sandbox to play in. But I dig the track. I dig this kind of this kind of mood. I dig this sound. Very excited.
Yeah, I love this track. The insistent guitar that does not let down, the sense of urgency that is translated both musically and in the lyrics. And it's, for me, listening to this, it's incredibly sad, the lyrics in this track. So, the urgency is carried through because they repeat the same thing over and over again. One of them is 你听见了吗? Have you heard this? And what they're describing is a hellscape where just after 你听见了吗, they say this, they have this passage which I just have to read. 人们在狂欢，与你并不相关。人在不断堆叠的肉体的堡垒和没有儿童节滴落的面颊。Did you hear it? People are reveling, and it has nothing to do with you. The fortress of flesh that is still being piled up, and the cheeks that are depressed without Children's Day. So, the children that don't have a Children's Day to celebrate, it's quite poignant.
Actually, in the comments, and now this makes more sense, is the band actually kind of clarifies, like, you know, what this song is a reference to, or what it's dedicated to. It's dedicated to Gaza and the children of Gaza.
Wow. Okay, well done. Well done.
All right, moving on. We are going to let's keep the mood punky, okay? And we're gonna go to Beijing now with Sisterhood from the band Free Sex Shop.
Yeah, and this is, it's, okay, let's just play the song and then we'll talk about it. But yeah, this is going to be a fun little parenthesis.
你就说吧，明天我上不了课，怪不怪你啊 ？Sorry。
So yeah, what's the M. Night Shyamalan twist of this new song that we're hearing?
Well, the twist is it is the last song or the last record that Free Sex Shop will publish, and it is also their first.
So the band has not even been active since 2018. So this band is very much extinct. I mean, we both lived in Beijing, and so Free Sex Shop was basically like, you know, a band that played at school bar, you know, every other week. You know, they were a resident band almost. And
school bar being kind of the epicenter of punk music in China, especially in Beijing.
And so, yeah, this was for a while like Beijing's kind of premier all-female like punk band for a few years when they were around. It's kind of just nice, you know, that they kind of just dusted off their, you know, they found these old tracks that kind of were, you know, maybe not completely finished, and they just decided like, hey, let's just, you know, let's polish these off and let's put them out there.
It's a bit of a bittersweet thing. I was talking to the singer before this episode, before we recorded. They wanted to close this chapter in a way that honors this band that they've been in for a long time, and yeah, just send it off with a properly recorded album. And they spent 2 years just recording and rearranging some of the tracks. So they did that. it's out.
Under the name Old Treasure, which is, very, very cute. And, yeah, if you like just very direct kind of melodic punk music with a bit of that 80s new wave to it, it's lots of fun.
Yeah. Very nice. And I'm looking forward to whatever's coming next from these girls. Yeah, so next track we have today is Pale Monsters by the band Love Letter Lost. This is out of an EP released on March 20th called Sheng Wenzi, Secret Words. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about this band? I think it's their first EP.
Yes. The band, they're from Guangzhou, down south. And they're pretty, they haven't been around for too long, maybe like for the past year and change. And I just... I'm a sucker for shoegaze and dream pop in general. But, cause I just think like there's so many different variations of it and there's so many different ways you can approach the genre. There's something about the sound here. It's the production on it. It's so much atmosphere. It's so much, patience, I feel, to their sound that's kind of like very alluring to me.
Yeah. This track is a slow build. I like a slow build. And you have those washed out guitars and kind of ethereal singing.
Yeah. And it doesn't try to like do that kind of blasting, wall of sound, but it's always there, and it's just so nice to kind of, it's really a fluid, very watery kind of sound.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if they have a full record plan, but let's keep our ears propped up and see what we
for
get.
Sure. Yeah. I think one day we could definitely, speaking of future episodes, we could definitely do like a whole shoegaze dream pop episode.
Oh yeah,
go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah. So for the next track, we're gonna switch gears a little bit here.
All right. That was Move by ADEAD, all one word, all caps. This is a track is off of a compilation from a Beijing-based label called Saipo Label. And this is their 14th compilation, with every compilation kind of exploring a different genre, whether it be ambient music or, break beats or, so this compilation, volume 14, is exploring what, Ellie?
It's exploring a genre that came out of South Africa. I don't know the appropriate pronunciation. It should have some click in it, but it's gqom, so gqom. And people might have heard this style of music from artists such as Toya Delazi or Moonchild Sanelli. They have a lot of tracks that have reached a lot of nightclubs in the US and in Europe. It's been popping up. And it's like a genre I'm really interested in general. And so this compilation has artists both from they have artists from China, based in China, but also in other parts of the world. And so ADEAD, he's based in Shenzhen, and I got to talk to him a little bit. ADEAD's been playing with different kind of genres, but he's been interested in this specific genre for a long time. He's had previously another track in the style that came out, but he felt it wasn't quite mature enough. And this one is something he's much happier with. As someone who's, as he says himself, a bit of a ADHD and perfectionist. So one other thing that ADEAD was saying, that in his productions, he tries to subvert genre expectations, and he doesn't aim for a typical sound, and he's mostly inspired by deconstructed club and experimental music.
Yeah, very cool. And if anyone's just interested with having a nice jumping off point for exploring, the contemporary electronic, experimental, or ambient scene in China, definitely just hit up this label on Bandcamp, and you'll have your time filled for a whole day.
At least. So big up to Saipo Label for putting that out. And let's move on to our next track for this episode, Fleeting by Linfeng, which was a surprise again that you sprang on me, Will, which I love. Fleeting by Linfeng from the album Sad But Beautiful, released March 27th.
So Linfeng is a Shanghai-based electronic producer who's, he's been around. And unlike, I guess, most, club producers, he kind of goes after a very vintage retro sound, a very jazzy, kind of ambient, kind of texture that, which I feel is a kind of a nice shout out to the city of Shanghai, which has a very kind of deep, jazz scene. And, this whole album is just like, it's just so well pieced together. Just like how all the elements just kind of come together to kind of put you under this spell,
Yeah. Just a melancholy jazz that could work on a neo-noir film.
Exactly. I was kind of thinking, I'm like, oh yeah, like this could be like a, the soundtrack to like a modern take of like In the Mood for Love or something. It kind of has that kind of, that atmospheric kind of pull to it. Yeah, very, very Shanghai kind of, kind of romantic, but, melancholic. Very cool stuff.
Perfect title for the album. It is permeated with this melancholy, but it's never too brooding. It keeps it light. It introduces new ideas, little elements of electronic music here and there that evoke a city, the rain, pleasant, tactful. And I'm so jealous that you guys have that in Shanghai because in Kunming we have a lot of stuff, but we don't have jazz.
Yeah. And also a nice, fun thing about this album is like, at least in the liner notes, it kind of mentions how like it was kind of just came out of him accidentally purchasing a clarinet. So he had a clarinet and he's like, I guess I got to use this. I got to figure this thing out. And so a lot of the tracks have exceptional like clarinet instrumentation. Really cool stuff. Yeah, just want to take a long smoky drag of a cigarette. Listen to this.
And perfect way to close our episode today. Yeah. Do we have some exciting news before we close this out?
Really? What do you got? I feel like I've been left in the dark here. What's the exciting news?
I don't know. I mean, next week we're gonna talk about Instinto Industrial's new album.
Okay.
I just got this track I sent you this morning, which I'm excited to talk about. And I'm gonna be in Beijing at the end of the month. Stuff is happening.
All right. Glad to hear that. Glad to hear. Keeping busy over here. Have a couple shows in the upcoming week. So next week, doing like a psychedelic kind of a showcase with Shanghai bands Dizang and Am Corporation.
Oh, wow.
And inviting a band from Wuhan, Post Spring Hill Tide. And then the week after, have a kind of emo post-hardcore band coming in from Hangzhou, which I'm really excited about. And I'm just really looking forward to these shows for a long time. It's gonna be great.
Neat. Well, thanks for sitting with us through all these tracks, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Remember to leave a comment or a nice rating if you have a minute.
Yeah, and share with a friend, just if you enjoy it, just, pass it along. Just give it a little push. Put it out there.
All right. Cheers, everyone.
Take care. Till next time. This is the Live China Music Podcast. Toodaloo.
Toodaloo.